Hi friends, I'm Felicia. Welcome here. Flip my hair. Guys, my hair is so long. Like, if you're an old timer with my channel, when I started my channel, I had short hair all the time. And that was me for many years. And now I just have long hair. It's crazy. Anyways, Storm's here, I'm here, and it's February 15th. Fun fact, today is Chris and I's first, nope, Chris and I's, I got distracted by Chris and mine. I don't know the correct way to say that. Anyways, that's what I got distracted by. It is our 13th dating anniversary today. Yes, that's right. We had our first date the day after Valentine's Day. So, that was fun. Anyways, we're going to talk about my 8 favorite reads of 2022. Okay, so the first one is a book that I read in January last year, and that was The Matrimonial Advertisement by Mimi Matthews. Yes, it was by Mimi Matthews. And it is set in Victorian England. Literally don't remember the names of the main characters anymore. It contains my favorite trope. Well, one of my favorite tropes. I have a lot that I like. But romance tropes, which is marriage of convenience. So we have a man who is a confirmed bachelor. No, that doesn't mean that, apparently. That's code for something else. Anyways, he is a bachelor. He doesn't really want to get married. Basically, his friend / lawyer puts in a newspaper an advertisement that he's looking for a wife. So kind of like not a mail order bride, but kind of. And so this woman answers the ad and they get married within the week. And then they live in his like stately, semi-run down manner because, you know, he's like this crusty guy and he doesn't need to take care of his house and make it all pretty or whatever. So they go there and then secrets from their past start coming out. Like not nefarious secrets, but like, you know. And then as they're going through these challenges, as a married couple, they also fall in love. Spoilers. And I really loved it. I couldn't read it fast enough. It was just so much fun, really enjoyable, and I really love Victorian romances. It is the first book in a series, and I read the second book. I haven't read books 3 or 4 yet. And the second book I didn't like as much. It was still good, but like I loved the first one. Alright, so book number 2 of my favorites. This is in no particular order. My favorite book will be at the end. Otherwise, not in any particular order. Love Letters of the Angels of Death by Jennifer Quist. And I think I first heard about this book from Rick McDonnell, of Rick McDonnell fame. He talked about this book, and it is a CanLit book. And the reason that I love this book is because it is about a married couple. And the conflict in the book is not between them. What this book is essentially vignettes from their marriage and their relationship tied to these moments where someone in their lives has passed away. But it's actually like an insight into their relationship. And I thought it was a really good storytelling device, I guess. Like I didn't even pick, literally, Love Letters of the Angels of Death. Death is in the title, and I literally didn't even pick up on that, like all of these stories were kind of like coming back to like moments in their life where there was a death. I didn't pick up on that until quite a ways through the book. And it's not a very long book. I found it just really engaging, and just like these moments between this couple, I just love it. You know, I'm always saying I want to read books about couples that are in a happy marriage, and this fit the bill. Again, I read this earlier in the year, so I don't have like fresh memories of it, but I just absolutely love this book. I would really recommend it, and I want to read more Jennifer Quist. Book number 3 on my list is Once Removed by Andrew Unger. And this was just the most fun, unique reading experience I've ever had. Andrew Unger is a local author. The setting of this book is like a fictionalized version of where I live. And the characters are like fragments of people that I recognize in real life, like character bits and like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, like local eccentricities and behaviors and local isms and things like that. Like I just recognized everything in this book. Like I've never read a book that is so culturally relevant to me. Like this is exactly me in this book. So like if you want to understand the community that I live in, read this book. And it's like a combination of like Corner Gas and Schitt's Creek, and like it's just so funny. And there's a little bit of a sinister twist in it as well. But yeah, I just absolutely loved reading this book. I thought it was well written. So surprising, I don't know. And Andrew Unger, I don't know, maybe my Mennonite viewers, and I know there are a few of you, you will be familiar with the Daily Bonnet. It's a Mennonite satire website, kind of like The Onion, but it's just for Mennonites. It's called The Daily Bonnet, and he is the writer of The Daily Bonnet. And so if you've read that, then you will be familiar with his writing. And I don't know, it was just so funny, and I'm really happy that I read this book. I don't have this book in this room. It's in Chris's office, and I don't want to go get it. So I'll put a cover up here. But book number, what are we on? 4? Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. I finally finished the first Mistborn trilogy. This book shredded my heart. My brain exploded 30 times. And I was there for the ride, and I absolutely adored it. It was so much fun, so action-packed, so tense. And then all of the reveals that were happening in like the last 100 pages, my brain was exploding every single time. And I don't know, like Brandon Sanderson, he has such a way of making things so obvious, like once it's revealed. They're like, oh, that's what this and this and this and this and this meant. And then he just like ties it all together. And then it's just like, what? How did I not even pick up on that? And then just like the very ending, again, my heart was shredded, but in the best possible way. And to me, it was just top tier. It was just excellent. And I know not everyone loves that book, but like I loved it. And Chris had already read it, and he was having so much fun with my reactions, because every time I would like yell from the couch, he'd be like, what just happened? I'd be like, this has happened. So that was fun too. So yeah, I definitely will be reading more Sanderson this year. Have already read Sanderson this year, which you'll find out once I eventually film a wrap-up video from what I've read this year. Okay, so book 5 is Jane of Lantern Hill by Ella Montgomery. I am slowly now working my way through all of the Ella Montgomery books that are not from Anne of Green Gables, which I have read many times, but I had, up until recently, not read any of her other books. Last year I read The Blue Castle, and I loved it. And this last year, I guess. So 2021 I read The Blue Castle. 2022 I read Jane of Lantern Hill, and I just loved it. Jane is such, well, I mean, all of her characters, they're all just so, I don't know, thoughtful. They feel real. They're so well fleshed out. And yeah, I love this story. It's about Jane. She's 12 years old, 11 or 12, and she lives in Toronto with her mom and her grandma. Her grandma sucks, and her mom is just completely under her grandma's thumb. And so Jane is kind of miserable, and she grew up, she didn't know who her dad was until one day he sends a letter and wants her to come live with him for the summer. And she's like, this is gonna suck. My dad is a loser, because that's what her grandma always told her. Spoiler, her dad doesn't suck. She loves him. So, and of course he lives in Pea Island, and life is amazing in Pea Island. I'm convinced now from Ella Montgomery that if you visit / move to live in Prince Edward Island, your life will become perfect and you will be healed from all illnesses. Kind of like when you read like The Secret Garden and and then like Heidi, like those books, Nature Heals Little Children. I feel like this is in that genre. But it was so much fun and so sweet and so charming, and I loved it. So definitely enjoying the Ella Montgomery completing as well. I still have a long way to go before I complete her bibliography. But yeah, the next book on my list was a bit of a surprise. I've already lost track of what number we're at. It was a surprise. I saw it at Chapters, got drawn into the cover, didn't buy it, but I added it to my to reads list. And finally picked up the audiobook one day just on a whim, and I loved it. That's why it's on this list, and that is No Good Asking by Fran Kimmel. Again, a Canadian author. Actually, whoa, hang on a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of my 8 are Canadian authors. What the heck? Amazing. Okay, anyways. Okay. So, No Good Asking by Fran Kimmel. And it is set in kind of a small community. It's set right before Christmas. It starts off with a man, I forget his name. He has just retired from the police force. I think he's just retired from it. And he's on his way home and he sees his neighbor girl just like out in a field. Okay. And it's set in Canada and it's cold right before Christmas. Okay. So she is not wearing proper winter clothing. She's just like wearing a light jacket or whatever. Maybe a hoodie. I don't remember. But anyways, so he takes her home because he's like concerned that she's just like wandering out in a field, inadequately dressed for the weather, and basically sees that her home life is not a good situation, and he removes her from her home. She's just living with her stepdad, who is not doing a good job of taking care of her. He apprehends her. That's what the official term is, I think. Anyways, and so because it's right before Christmas, the social worker can't find a foster family, so she lives with, I forget his name. I forget everyone's name in this book. But she lives with the family of the man who took her in, or took her away from her stepdad. Are you confused yet? And so she spends Christmas with them while the social worker is trying to find a foster family that will be more permanent for her. And it just really surprised me, and just the way that it captivated my heart. And I just felt so drawn to the characters and their relationships. And then the ending was so sweet. So yeah, if you want to read something with a happy ending, you can read this book. And so like you could read it around Christmas time. I read it in the summertime, so you can read it in the summertime too. It was really good. And that is a book that I've never heard anyone else talk about. So definitely, and I don't think it has tons of ratings on Goodreads either. So if you find it, pick it up because it's really good. The next thing isn't like a book, but this is number 7 on my list because I only have one more after this. But I read Spy Family, just all of it. So Spy Family by Tetsuya Endo. That is an ongoing manga series, and I have read every single chapter. So I first started off with reading the volumes through Libby, and then my library doesn't have all of them. My library is not amazing in the Overdrive department, and I requested that they get them physical copies, and they were like, that's too many volumes, we can't do it. And I was like, fine. So then I went online and on the Shonen Jump website / app, and I read everything. So I am totally caught up on Spy Family, and I frickin' love it. It is so much fun and so sweet, and I love the relationships between the characters, and I have just like such a hardcore ship. Me, a grown woman, using the word ship, but I ship them. So if you aren't familiar with Spy Family, I feel like everyone was reading Spy Family this year. I think probably because the anime also came out this last year, maybe. Anyways, I've only watched one episode of the anime because I got a Crunchyroll trial and then I didn't watch it fast enough. Kind of forgot about it, so I only watched one episode. So when I'm ready to like just binge it, then I'm gonna pay for Crunchyroll. But anyways, if you're not familiar with Spy Family, it's about a man who is a spy. He's like the best spy for his country, and he has to do a secret mission where he has to get close to a man that's high up in the government. And the way that his handler has decided he's going to do that is he's going to get married and he's going to adopt a kid, and then he's going to send his kid to the prestigious school that the target's child attends, and they're going to become friends, and then the dads are going to be in proximity, and then he's going to take him out. I actually don't even remember. The target is, he's supposed to get close to the target, so I don't know what he's actually supposed to do after that. But anyways, so he's this super amazing spy, master of disguise, and he marries this woman. No, he adopts a child first. I mean, everyone says this. It's a bit of a spoiler. The child is a telepath, but he doesn't know. Then he gets married to this lady who is secretly an assassin, and like the best assassin ever. And he doesn't know that, and she doesn't know he's a spy. Neither of them know that their daughter is a telepath, and of course she knows that both of them are who they are. And it just makes for so many miscommunications and so many funny scenarios, and it's so much fun, and I absolutely love it. So I'm obsessed with Spy Family, impatiently awaiting every new chapter to be released now. But yeah. Okay. So my favorite book, number 8, my favorite book, I can't say my favorite book from 2022 was, if you've been around a long time, then you will know, because you know who my favorite author is, and that is Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. I can't even count how many of my buzzwords this book hits. So we have multiple timelines that we're following to converge to a final point at the end. We have time travel. Gosh, it's such an amazing book. Okay, so I love Emily St. John Mandel's writing. The way she develops characters and fleshes them out. The way that I just felt so connected to everyone in this book. And like I was so invested in what was happening in their stories. So we follow 3 timelines. One is, I think right at the front end of World War I, I think. And then we jump forward like 200 years, following a famous writer who wrote a book about a pandemic. And she's on a book tour for that book, and then a pandemic breaks out. So that character is very meta, which I found was very hilarious. Just like, or not ironic, but yeah, not hilarious either, but just I really enjoyed it, that aspect, because I felt like, you know, that's like I don't know what the term is, but like biographical fiction, is that what it is? But anyways, a few hundred years later after that, then we're following another guy who's a time traveler. Okay, so that's all I'm gonna say about the plot. I remember when she was writing this, she talked about it on Instagram, and she called it her deranged book because it was written during a pandemic. And I feel like she captured a lot of those feelings that a lot of us were having at the beginning of the pandemic. Sorry, I'm talking too fast. I don't know. It's just brilliant. Like, I can't put into words what I feel for Emily St. John Mandel and for her writing. I just, you know, she's my favorite author. I love her. She's perfect to me. All of her books are amazing, but especially like since Station 11, they're just home runs for me. And like, I read this book on my birthday, and as soon as I finished it, I wanted to just like start reading it again. Sorry, that was glary. And I kind of wish I had, because then I would have read it twice. It's just so good. And like, it's not very long. I think we're under 300 pages here. Yeah, 250. And it's just such an amazing book, and I love her so much. Okay, I'm gonna stop gushing about this now. That was my favorite book of last year, and none of what I said was coherent, so that's great. But yeah, so those are my favorite reads of 2022. Let me know if you've read any of them, what your thoughts are. If I've convinced you to read any of the books, please tell me. I would like to know if anyone's gonna pick up Once Removed. You can buy it on Amazon. It is like indie published, so you could also probably buy it through the publisher. And I will try to remember to put a link for that one down below specifically, because it might be hard to find. So yeah, if I've convinced you to read that, or nope, no good asking, because no one's read that book. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking now. This video is long enough. Storm's back. She left and came back. But yeah, so I hope that you all are having a wonderful day. I hope you're enjoying what you're reading, and until next time, so long and thanks for all the fish.